Yeah, I usually do this, but can I say it to you? Yeah. Oh, that's fine. Do this for hours. Sit and talk to you for hours. I wanna give you your flowers and some champagne showers. All the shrimp and lobster flowers. But it's me that gets devoured. Ooh, what to do? What to do? You give me a superpower. Together the world could be ours. You sit me up in the counter. It's the tears and the showers, storming for a couple hours. When we finish, take a shower. I could do this for hours and hours and hours. I could do this for hours and hours and hours. Okay, I'm gonna stop right there. you know, okay, that first of all, Facebook will kick you off for about 10 seconds of music. And then probably when we go to YouTube, it'll be worse than that. But good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. We're live tonight, a little early this week again. The girl is on the road. She's on the road, got some business to take care of next couple of days. So I'm going to be out there. It's all right. It's all right. Guess what? We'll be back on Friday, Martrice. So have a good rehearsal. Have a good rehearsal. But this is Friday Night Live with Dr. Kim. You know how we do every week, talking about everything concerning love and relationships. Hopefully, my ladies from Love and Life, according to Dr. Kim, Lord God, Dr. Kim are going to join me tonight in the chat and liven things up as I talk about hard conversations. The conversations that we need to be having that nobody wants to have. That's what we're talking about tonight. So grab a friend, grab your favorite beverage. I'm teetotaling tonight, so just a little pineapple juice in my little fancy mug. So I'm going light tonight, but pull up a chair, invite a friend, share with a sister, with a brother, who needs to hear the 6 things that you should be talking about with a potential partner at the very beginning. At the very beginning. So for those of you who take notes, and my cousin Jackie is usually our note taker, I know she's probably at work. You hear that thunder? It is storming. That's kind of what inspired that song. Hey, Sean, what's up? We got Detroit now. That's kind of what inspired that song tonight. I first was thinking about just hours and hours and hours. Like that's what we should be investing in our relationships, right? Is having these discussions that go on for hours and hours. Even in that song, even though she starts off talking about sitting on the counter and all of that, she goes into, I just want to tell you jokes. I want to make you laugh for hours. I want to talk to you for hours. That's the kind of investment we should be putting in our relationships, some that good talk, right? Getting to know, peeling back the layers, getting a master's or a doctorate in your person. That's how well you should know your guy or your girl, that there's not anything that somebody could ask you or bring to you and you wouldn't be able to judge. Yep, that's them, or that would be their opinion, or they would be there. That's how well you should know your person. And the only way you're going to know is by having these conversations. So if you're already in a relationship, these are good ones. If you haven't tackled some of these, and I bet you at least 1 or 2 of these, you're skating around. And if you're dating and you're looking for your person, these are the 6 things that you should be talking about early on. And when I mean early on, even before a commitment is given. So like I said in the description, before you start falling in love and getting in your feelings, you need to find out who this person really is by broaching these subjects. Okay, are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Who else just came in here? Hey, Najia. Good evening, Mrs. Evans. All right, so number one, for those of you who are just coming in, the values. And I forgot to give my preface of why. Every week I tell you why I choose a subject. The reason why I'm choosing this subject this week is particularly for my audience who is over 40. So that includes the 40s, the 50s, and some of you in your 60s. Okay, we're out here trying to date, and people are like, it's hard. And I'm kind of pushing back because I think after or since I've kind of narrowed down, first of all, my description of a relationship, my requirements for a relationship. Hey, Sherry Berry. Once I narrowed that down, things have improved in terms of the people who are presenting themselves, right? And then the other thing is, once you're meeting these people, tackling these issues, because folks will almost eliminate themselves. And so for us to avoid heartache and all of that, I got to put the big glasses on tonight, y'all. I'm sorry. I cannot see. So for the 40s, for the 50s, and this is particularly hard. Like I said, dating. We've talked about this before. Like most of us did not expect to be dating at this age. And so a lot of these topics are hard because we have so much life that we've lived already. We're coming with a whole lot of baggage. And so the trick of it is finding somebody who doesn't mind unpacking those bags, right? And not hold those bags against you. So here we go. We're trying to eliminate heartache by looking for some pink flags. And what do I mean by pink flags? We hear a lot about red flags, but those pink flags are where you're like, that could be an issue. That could be an issue. Do I want to ride this out and give this person some grace? Are they worth dealing with this? Are they actively working through some of these issues? And what do I mean by actively working through them? Like, are they aware? First of all, are they aware of the issues? And then, like I said, are they addressing them? Have they changed their habits? Have they enrolled in counseling or therapy or life coaching or any of that? And it's not a plug for my life coaching, but it is what it is. So these are the tough subjects that'll kind of help you uncover some of those pink flags or red flags, and then decide, am I in or am I out? We don't have a lot of time to waste, ladies. We really don't. So I hope this will help somebody. I think it helped me. I always do my own homework first, I'll tell you that, or at least I get started on it. So the same way I am in my teaching life, I'm like, here, I don't give advice that I don't follow. I don't ask you all to do anything that I'm not willing to do or haven't done. Okay, so here we go. A person's value system. Start there. That's number one, their value system. What do they believe? How do they view the world? Are they an optimist? Right? They can always kind of see the bright side of things. They see the glass half full. Or are they a pessimist? That whatever happens, they're always going to look at the negative first. Oh, well, that always happens to me. Well, the man don't want me to. You're like, oh, gosh. So their value system. I always ask, hey, sis, what's up, Hakima? I always ask, this is my opener. Okay, and this is for believers. So I always try to preface statements. My opening question when I meet a man is asking, what is your relationship with God? What is your relationship with God? And usually that's going to yield one of three answers. Many will say, oh, I belong to Mount Moriah Missionary Baptist Church. Didn't ask you that, sir. Or number two, I've had some men say, that's personal. Like, we don't even know each other like that. So I don't know if I feel comfortable having that conversation. Next, because that's not personal. I didn't ask you, what are your, How do you practice your spirituality? How do you practice your religion? I said, what's your relationship with God? And so again, if that's sensitive, that's telling me what? We're probably not going to be able to have some of those deeper conversations. So next. And then the last response that I have gotten are men who are actually able to tell me and say, oh, you know, me and God, we're best friends. We're on a first name basis. I talk to him every day. Or they may tell me, Allah, you know, Allah have a close relationship with Allah. Hey, wonderful. Well, you know, I don't consider myself a Christian, but I'm spiritual. So I do believe there's a power higher than myself. And, you know, I do reflect, I do meditation, whatever. But they're able to give me a clear answer about what their faith tradition is. Now, that may not be an important thing for you in terms of religion, but again, going back to the value system, why do I think this is important? Because this tells you the core values that you have are the basis for how you make decisions in season and out of season. So when things are going well, your value system drives what you do. Hey, I lost my job. Okay, what am I going to do? I think I'll go out here, let me take a break, and then I'll go start looking for a job. I'll network and talk to people I know. If their value system is very negative or pessimistic, they're going to lay down and they may not get back up. You see what I'm saying about how value systems figure into how people carry their lives without a moral base as well. No definitive right and wrong or system of judging what's ethical. Like, is this okay to do? Will this harm myself or others? Value systems, super duper important. Do they decide things on a whim, on their feelings, based on peer pressure? Come on, peer pressure is still real. Even in this age group, people want to show up a certain way in front of their colleagues, in front of their social circles. And so they'll use that if that's their value system. Oh, we got to get a house. Why we got to get a house now? Because everybody, all the rest of our friends have houses. Well, that's not really good decision making. But if they're grounded and rooted in core values that are driven from internal motivation, right? That's a solid person. That's a solid person. Now, I will say this before I go further, because I know certain followers who are going to be watching this and they're going to push back about women requiring all of this stability in somebody. Yes, absolutely. I would say be able to provide the things that you are requiring. So when I'm saying to the ladies here, these are things you should be looking for. These are also qualities that what we should be fine tuning in ourselves, right? It just makes for a good partner. So is this person a YOLO? Like, you only live once. Okay, so hey, we just letting it roll. Today is today, tomorrow is tomorrow. Are they somebody who says you only die once, but you live every day? Those mindsets or value systems, again, are going to drive every decision, every action, every behavior, things that they do on their own individually, and things that may down the road impact you. So that's why you need to ask those questions again early on. Have you ever met people, you all talk to me, you all are mighty quiet. Have you ever met people even about something as simple as being late, right? Or being on time? That's part of your value system. There are some people who culturally even don't believe that being on time is that serious of a thing. You said 7. Okay. If I get there somewhere within the 7 o'clock hour, that's good. And then you have other people feel like if you say 7 o'clock, then I should be there at 6:45. So when the event begins, I'm already there. Value system. So I'm telling you, it really, it drives everything. And I've seen that one argument tear up a lot of couples. It's like, you are constantly late. You're never on time. I'm always waiting on you. I've heard that from men and from women. And it's because, yeah, I get there when I get there. I don't mean any harm. I'm not even trying to be disrespectful. It's just my value system. As long as I get there, somebody else will be there. They're not expecting me to be there on time, right? Yeah, at courtship, you have to. You have to. Day one. So the value system is the basis for how people show up in the world. Don't be fooled. Don't think just because somebody is a professional, just like you, they think the way you do. Or somebody came up the hard way, they think the way you do. We can't assume, and that's what each of these subjects are saying. I'm gonna keep it moving because I'm hoping this Wi-Fi holds out with this storm. Do you hear the thunder? It's thundering real bad here in Chicago. Oh my gosh. Okay, so the second one, health. I'm sorry, I skipped my own notes. Credit, your financial history. You better talk about it early on. Now, you may not want to ask or give a credit score when you're just getting to know somebody, but you most definitely need to talk about how people feel about money and how they manage it. This really falls in line with your value system. It falls right in line. Again, do you think about a rainy day? Or do you just go rogue? You just get what you want, when you see it, impulse buying. Do you spend some or save some? Okay. Are you a tither? So those of you who are believers, are you a tither? Do you believe in giving back to the body as well as save and spend? Do you sacrifice for tomorrow? People don't save for things like they used to. You remember layaway? You put $5 on it and you pay on it a little bit, right? Every time you get paid. Some people know about that. The young people, they like Afterpay for that reason. So is that what you do? Do you build, is one of your goals to build generational wealth? And then ask what that means. Because some people, oh yeah, I'm all about generational wealth. I'm trying to, what does that mean? Does it mean you're investing in real estate? Does it mean you just don't want your children to inherit your debt? Are you starting businesses in their name? What are you doing? So what does that mean? And then if they're talking about that, just like all of these, what do they have in place already? Because that's what you find a lot. People know, look, like I've said to you all before, it's millions of relationship podcasts out here every day, 24/7. So people kind of know the language. They kind of know what to say to draw you in. And that's one of those, I'm trying to establish generational wealth. Well, boo, how are you doing that? And just lean in and see what they tell you, see what they share. Do they have a plan in place? Do they invest? If so, how? What are you doing? Is it stocks? What is it? What are you doing? Okay. So definitely, like I said, you might not want to give that credit score early on, but if you are already committed and you're definitely contemplating marriage, it's time for some real numbers. Absolutely. It's time for some real numbers. Where are you for real? Because if you remember way back, and I'm probably going to have to do that series again, when we look at marriage vows, when you say, I take, and all of those phrases that come after that, that includes these things we're talking about tonight. So you need to know if this man or this woman is in debt up to their eyeballs, that's going to impact your relationship. It's going to impact every decision you make, down from whether we're eating out on date night or we're going to make some tuna salad in this house and feed it to each other. Okay. Might not be able to do all of that traveling that you're saying you want to do. You may not be able to get in that house year 2, maybe year 5. So those numbers become important. And they also become important because what? Full disclosure is how you build trust in a relationship. There should be no guessing. And again, you can't guess with finances. You can't look at somebody and tell whether they're broke or to what level. Okay, because broke disguises itself real good these days. Ask me how I know. Okay, so numbers don't lie, numbers tell you the whole truth. And the willingness for that person, again, if you're at that stage, the willingness of that person to divulge that information tells you a lot. Do you want to get in a relationship where there's secrets, where you're guessing, where the person is like, well, that's my business and that's your business? And maybe you do. So again, I'm not trying to tell you to do it Dr. Kim's way. I'm just saying you need to be able to negotiate that. So maybe you are that person. You're like, well, that's my business. Look, as long as we handle the bottom line, you don't need to know what I'm doing over here. That's how you roll. Make sure you show up and say that. But don't play submissive. Ladies, don't play submissive like Miss Girl did. You saw that the story I put in the group this week? The girl said she was going to sign that prenup. I can't even remember the athlete's name, but she said she was going to sign the prenup. Of course, boo, anything for you. And she kept stalling. She kept stalling. Got about a week out. He's like, I ain't gonna be able to do it. Because he was like, I had been asking for, I think it was 3 or 4 months for her to sign that prenup. She didn't do it. And guess what? He called it off. He called it off. She's standing there looking stupid. But he told you this was important to him. And she tried to ride it out. Oh, he don't really mean that because he loved me, right? He crazy about me. He told you what was important. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. If you don't know the answers to some of these, if you really don't know where you stand, you need to sit and reflect. How do I really feel about that? Do I want to pull my finances? Do I want full disclosure? And if so, what are the ramifications of that for me if I had to pull out my portfolio right now? Because again, we should be able to provide what we're requiring. So if you want him to pull out his portfolio and prove to you that he's a viable partner and he can take care of you, you should be able to do the same. You should be able to do the same. Full disclosure is important. Hey, cuz, what's up, Venus? Here's the other thing. Before, what was it? This is 2023. I want to say that was 2019 was the last set of statistics that I saw that finances were the #1 reason for the demise of marriages. It was not infidelity. Now it's commitment, right? So the last couple of years it's been people don't feel like their partner is as invested in the relationship, so they leave. But prior to that, probably the last 15 years prior to that, it was finances. People had financial difficulties, disagreements, different financial goals. Because look, when your money is funny, everything else gets strange. Let's be real, okay? Nothing like being able to walk through Walmart and get what you want instead of sticking to the list. When you got to stick to that list, your nerves get bad. You start looking over that cart at everybody. So if somebody else is causing that, we're not on the same page. And that was an issue. That was an issue in my marriage. Both actually, but for different reasons. For different reasons. So it is not something to be looked over. Yes, it's sensitive. People don't like talking about money. They don't, but it's so critical. So #1, you need to talk about their value system. #2, you need to talk about your credit and your financial history, your financial wellness, actually, okay? #3, your health and wellness. Are you okay? Are you healthy? Do you have any comorbidities in your family, meaning y'all got sugar? Do y'all have heart attacks in your family? Do you know about that? And if you do, what are you doing to lessen your proclivity from becoming ill? So, for example, in my family, diabetes runs in my family on my maternal side. Okay, if my cousin is still here, she knows. So that was when I became aware of that about 10 years ago. I got to do something about that. I got to start eating different. I got to start moving some kind of way because I know that there's a great chance that I will end up, hey, Doc, what's up, Beverly? There's a big chance that if I don't take care of myself, I get diabetes. My grandmother, my biological grandmother, passed from diabetes at 36. When I found that out, I was like, oh, this is serious. And she lost her vision before that. That's something that I know, and that's something that I've had to share with people. I eat this way because I don't want to get sugar. Okay. And I did have gestational diabetes when I carried Lindsay. Shout out to my favorite sailor. And so just that short period of time having to shoot insulin, I was like, oh no, I don't want to live like this. So when somebody asked me about my health, hey, I've been pre-diabetic, I have different food choices that I make now. So certain things, I'm not going to eat fried food when I'm out. You know, I try to be very careful about sweets and that kind of thing. So every once in a while I'll break down, but then I know what that means. So anyway, enough about me. But you need to know, those are discussions you need to have, right? And so if you know this, if you know heart disease runs in your family, diabetes, sickle cell, all of these things, some of which again can be abated. You might not be able to avoid them, but you can hold them off with decisions, with the decisions that you make. And so you'll find there's some people are like, well, you know, that's the hand I've been dealt. Can't do anything about it. Goes back to that value system again, right? So it should be that when you know better, you do better. Some people don't, right? So health and wellness, let me keep on down the list. If you know that this is your story, are you making good decisions? Are you making good decisions? You got to watch that. Because again, if I'm getting in a relationship with you and you don't take care of yourself, how in the world could I imagine that you would ever take care of me? Are you going to be fastidious about our food choices, maybe even where we live because of our health needs? Or are you just going to ride it out? Hey, you know, I believe God for, you know, just God gonna do what God gonna do. Hey, Emma, how are you? Good evening, sweetheart. Okay, so what happens when the sickness comes? You need to know these things so you know how to support this person. If these things should occur, being proactive is so important. What are we going to do? And again, that value system, you got to know who you're dealing with. What about when they get sick? What are they going to want you to do? Right? What if it's mental illness? What if it's mental illness that runs in the family? And again, that's a conversation that I have early on. Hey, mental illness runs in my family. So if you see me start wilding out, we need to have a conversation because sis might not be good. They need to know that, because not only that, as a caring partner, I want them to know that maybe there's something I might need your support around. We say that relationships are a mirror, right? So if they're seeing something and I've given them this information, then maybe they can identify it sooner and partner with me on it instead of thinking that I'm, you know, just being weird. So health and wellness also what drives the quality of your relationship. Health is wealth. Health is wealth. Without health, you're not going anywhere. You're not doing anything. And so, like I was saying a minute ago, obviously all illnesses are not preventable, right? But knowing the mindset of your person is critical. What's up, Millsap? Good evening, sweethearts. Good to see you, beautiful. Okay. What about, this is the one the ladies like to talk about, what about ED, erectile dysfunction? It happens. We're in the 40 and 50-year-old age group. It happens. Body parts stop working or not working like they used to be working. So boom, if that happens to you, how are you going to deal with that? You're going to go to the doctor. You're going to get checked out. You're going to get some medication. You're going to do some hormone therapy. What you going to do? Or you just expect me to sit there and just deal, right? Go find me a friend or a friend. What is it going to be? Because that diseases like that or illnesses like that have a direct impact, right, on the individual that you're with. So what are your views on that? And we know a lot of men, you got two camps. You got men who run to the doctor for everything, and men who are like, I gotta be on my last leg, maybe on my last breath before I'll go. And so again, value system. So how is he gonna deal with this when boyfriend don't work? What is he gonna do? Is he invested enough in his own health and in the relationship to do what's best for the both of you? Same with women. Sisters get into menopause, start drying up. What are you gonna do, ladies? You're gonna lose. You're gonna get checked out, go to hormone therapy, or when your sex drive gets low and you don't want to do anything but once a year, what is he supposed to do? He's just supposed to go get a movie. And you say you get it when I feel like it. Is that fair? Is that what we do? These are the things we need to talk about. These are the things, because if they haven't happened, they are coming. And these are the things that unravel. And something like that is super important because we know, like I said, sex is that glue. For a lot of people, they say it's the glue that holds you together, right? That holds you together. So what are you doing? You all not talking to me. Buy you a toy and go see a doctor. Okay, she said both and. I hear you. But like I said, how long are you going to do that? How long are you going to do that? These are the conversations I'm saying we don't want to have because we think everything is going to be the way it is right now. Everything is going to be the way it is now. So moving right along into the sex. Now, again, this is something people don't want to talk about in the beginning. You better talk about it. People don't want to talk about sex in the beginning. It's like death. People think if you talk about it, then that means it's going to happen. Just because you talk about sex early in a relationship does not mean that you are saying you're ready to have sexual relations with this person, but you need to know their mindset. And it's, again, closely aligned with the value system. I got to look at my notes because y'all had me saying something I don't need to say. So for many people, just if sex is bad, cheating comes soon after. If it's bad, if it's unavailable, if I have to beg you for it, okay, or it's unfulfilling. So again, when things change. So it used to be like my song when I came on. We used to be going for hours and hours and hours. And now we can get it in on a commercial break. So somebody might be happy, somebody may not. We need to talk about that. So what are we going to do when that happens? What are we going to do when that happens? So asking somebody just what are their beliefs about sex? How do they view sex? Like, is it important to them? Or is it you could take it or leave it? Again, this conversation is for men and women. I'm encouraging the brothers. Talk to her, ask her, how does she see? Is it just a ritual? Is it something you do? Is it strictly physical, just like working out? It's like, hey, we smash and we dash. Okay. Do you think that it should happen every day? Or is it just for the weekend? Or is it just for birthdays and Christmas? What do you think? Or do you think, like me, and I know some other people who think like me, sex is communication. You can say things in the bedroom you can't say with words. So it's critical. If communication of any kind breaks down, and that to me is sex is nonverbal communication. If that breaks down, it's going to cause a wedge between us. Okay? It's designed to keep you coming back and reconnecting with each other. So what's normal for you? I think asking somebody, what's normal? In terms of frequency, in terms of what you like. Let's get into it. What do you like? You traditional? Missionary gets you there? Are you creative? Are you spontaneous? Are you freaky or have freaky tendencies? And that's another one that you have to unpack because one person's freaky is another person's basic. Where's Sherry Berry? What Pal was going to pick with you is, love languages and absolutely. That goes back to the communication. right? So even in sex, right? Those love languages show up. Even in sex. My love language is words of affirmation. Okay. So I'm talking during sex. I need to hear something. Hello. Tell me how wonderful. Tell me how beautiful. Tell me how good it feels. Okay. Some people, if it's physical touch, how you touch them during sex, super, super important. Quality time, another love language that shows up in sex. Are we taking our time? Do you need foreplay? If you do, what is foreplay for you? Because some people think kissing is foreplay. Some people are thinking I washed your car today was foreplay when it came home. So being specific, what's going to take you there? What's going to get you there? What's going to seal the deal? Okay, super duper important. Don't assume anything. Asking about their sexual history. What's your experience like? You've been out there. Now, I'm not saying a body count. I don't need to know how many people you've been in the bed with, but you've been out there. It kind of tells you how they view sex. Okay, how they handle sex. A lot of times when people have had a lot of sexual experience, like it's just kind of a no-brainer. It's just something they do. Don't put a lot of thought into it. Or some consider themselves to be professors and connoisseurs of sex, so they take it very seriously. They're into the details, right? The choreography of it. So I think asking people, again, kind of, a little bit about the past. Knowing your partner's turn-ons and turn-offs, super important. And this is where I'm going next, Kim. You must have read my notes. How old were you when you lost your virginity? Very, very important question. Do you know why? A lot of times this tells you maybe more than you were ready to hear. When I've asked that question, usually it'll reveal some triggers along with that. Okay. Especially if the person was really young, right? And their virginity was taken. And I've met a lot of men that their virginity was taken by an older woman, or they may have been sexually abused by a family member. And so their virginity was taken in a traumatic way. And so how does that play out in their relationships? For many men and women who have experienced that, they either have to dominate so they feel in control, or you have some that are only passive because, again, they don't know how to initiate or don't feel comfortable initiating. Their initial experience was being what? Dominated. Okay. So sometimes there's triggers. There's triggers there. I've seen some people who are aggressive, overly aggressive, because that was their indoctrination into their sexuality. And likewise, some who are passive, women who I could never initiate. Again, some of that is because of how we were taught, and the other is, again, how you were, like I said, how your virginity was negotiated. It can be a bad trigger if you're abused. There's Jackie King. Come on in here, cuz. How are you? If you were abused, you won't be as enjoyable. Yeah, for men and women. I had, I said, I've met men and they won't talk about it, right? Because it's such a stigma. But men, again, who have been sexually violated even as adults. Something we don't talk about. When I've done research on that, they talk about, I think it's like 1% of the population of men have been sexually abused or assaulted as adults, but it's so underreported. And the few gentlemen that I have known that have had that happen, they never told anybody. Of course, they told me, because folks just tell me stuff. But yeah, so knowing the sexual history can tell you a lot. If they were a late bloomer, it tell you a lot. Or it initiates a conversation where they start telling you why they feel the way they feel. So think about some of the role playing that people do. Hey, Kim, how are you? Some of the role playing. Hey, Ron, how are you? Some of the role playing that people do. Like, I want to be picked up. Let's act like we're strangers. Folks can't do that. Okay. Bondage. Some people can't do that. Because again, that's a loss of control. I've already can't do it. So again, these conversations are so important so we can be proactive and we can develop a healthy relationship on that end. What's up, Sharon? She made it. Yep. Thank you. Don't do it. She say vanilla. If you ain't had that vanilla sex, hello. I've seen that too. Okay. It's like, listen, do I want to tell that story tonight? You all have heard me tell that story before. About how the sex was like line dancing. You be dead asleep. Up there, poke you on the shoulder. Okay, go ahead. You're gonna touch my breast. You're gonna rub my leg. You're gonna flip me over. Whackety, 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 whackety. Ah! And then you fall to the side. It's just like line dancing. Same moves every single time. 2 steps up and 2 steps back. Put it in, and I'm done. Line dancing. You're like, oh, Lord. No, it's not Friday yet. I'm just trying to do this a little bit early, and I want the ladies here involved. But I wish I had that conversation. I wish I had that conversation. I'm trying to save your life. Oral sex. Some people are still, look, young people now, that's like shaking hands. Now, our generation and a little bit older than me, that was something, special. Somebody you were really, y'all were there. This is my person. Definitely, like I said, we married. Now these folks want to shake your hand, and we're going to do that before we do anything else. Or you meet some people who are like, you can do me, but I'm not going to do you. Huh? Where do they do that at? No reciprocity? So you want me to eat a Polish, but you don't eat tacos. Boy, bye. That's a conversation. People don't have that conversation. I'm telling you, my ex, he was like, He was like, not my wife. My wife shouldn't do. That's what hoes do. Honestly. So he didn't want to do it, and he didn't want to receive. Wish we had that conversation a long time ago. Yeah, that's my code word, Polishes and tacos. They're like, woo, I need a Polish, some extra mild sauce. That's cold. I done gave y'all my code. Let me move on. Yeah, tacos. Woo! You want hard shell or soft shell? What are we doing? Is this something that my pineapple juice? Because I done got really silly all of a sudden. I know, right? My husband said the same, but he do me, but just don't want me to do him. See what I'm saying? That's insane. But this, like I said, we got to negotiate that. I mean, you there. And so I did. I mean, I accepted it. And then every time I would try, but what you been watching? Who you been talking to? Boy, relax, boo. I come in peace. I'm trying to bring love to the situation, but okay. You don't want that kind of love. Yeah, I'm telling you, that's what my ex-husband said. He was like, no, that's what hoes do. Not my wife. You're not supposed to do that. You pay somebody to do that. And I was something like, so how wonderful could that be to get that for free? Brother said no. So again, but we didn't have that conversation beforehand. She good because she always like, like Maxwell Street said, we're in Chicago. We just do the Maxwell Street Polishes and you good. Okay, I think I did this one to death. Anyway, you better get some answers to those questions, okay? No, wasn't nobody else doing it. But I think when he got back out there in the dating world, I think he found out that these young women are like, really, sir? That's the starter package. That's the starter package. Oh, yeah, you gonna check a girl out. I'm not dealing with you. I think he found out. Tell him to look us the way. It's a compliment, but at the same time, like we're saying, and who was talking about cheating earlier? And like I said, I'm not a cheater, never have, and I don't ever intend to be. But you can definitely see how somebody could be curious, right? Or be open to it, because here is my partner who I'm supposed to be getting all of these urges fulfilled by, and you're telling me that there are some boundaries, that I can't get this from you. And I'm wrong if I go to the outside to get it. So I just got to suppress that. That's a problem. I'm not going there. I'm not going there today. Maybe he's doing it for himself. I don't know. Or maybe, like I said, he just like some things, I don't know. You just say, well, that's when I was younger. That's when I was younger. And so maybe it's not as important as it was then. I don't know. But I'm just saying, I know for me, this is part of the vetting process. I need to find out early. Can we flow or not? Because again, that's going to be, again, it goes back to the value system again. You have some people that think about sex, that's for young people. And when we get older, well, you just get what you get. I know some folks in their 60s and 70s, they still getting it in when they want to get it in. You can't let age define you. So again, that's why this conversation is important. You have some people that saw their parents and grandparents go to twin beds as soon as the kids left, or as soon as the kids were grown, or their families were completed. And they just accepted, hey, we get older, we might have conjugal visits every once in a while, but that's not really a part of our life anymore. You better ask those questions. You cannot assume that everybody feels the way you feel. Okay? You wait too late. I'm a witness. I just assumed. I assumed a whole lot of things because of how things were, how he presented, right? And so I'm thinking, oh, okay, we just going simple because we're just getting to know each other. No, that's just the way Boo was wired. he wasn't trying to do nothing that required diagrams and steps. He was like, look, this is tried and true. Swoop, 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 swoop. There you go. Okay, I'm done. I ain't gonna talk about it no more. Okay, so value systems, we got to check into the value system. You have to check into the credit and the financial history. Both of you should be talking about that. How do you deal with your money? What is money for? Do I have debt? What am I doing about it? Am I investing? What do I do about it? Health and wellness. Are you taking care of yourself? Do you have illnesses in your family? What may that look like in the future if you do, right? Are you taking care of yourself now or not? Or you just think, I'm going to let it fly, and then eventually you take care of me. It ain't my problem. Get somebody else to do it, okay? Number 4, sexual history and your preferences. How do you flow? What are your needs? Okay, how are we going to communicate that? Is sex even important to you? Because I'm telling you, there's some folks walking around here, they're like, I could take it or leave it. But those are not my people. Moving along. Number 5, family connections. You need to find out how this person feels about family, their own family. What are their connections? Do they have deep connections to their family? If so, how deep? If not, why not? So why are you not close to your family? Are there boundaries? Has there been something that's happened? Or is that the value system of your family? Like, hey, we don't live in the same place anymore. So, it's whatever. Or are you the family, or do they have a family, or expect that families are a part of everything that we do? Every holiday, every decision, every event. There's some families like that. what we call a high context microsystem, right? Where the family is closely tied and everything. They know what each other does and they're part of each other's activities. This is something that you need to talk about up front. Again, if you have come from two different kinds of families, there's going to be some negotiation on each person's part. What does that look like? One person who is maybe not used to family being involved on that level is going to feel intruded upon, even during the dating process, right? So I remember making those decisions, and I saw my son and his wife make those decisions when they were dating. It's like, okay, family is important to both of us. So how do we continue being a part of our individual families and honor our relationship? Hey, Michelle, how are you? Good evening. Okay. Or if you have one person, like I said, my relationship before, where I'm very much tied into my family, and he was not in the same way. And so it was like, your family got to come over here for this. And I was like, oh yeah, I thought everybody celebrated. It wasn't Arbor Day, but I'm telling you, it was something really inconsequential to most people. But we get together for almost anything. And he wasn't used to that. So he felt like, wow, it's just your family is just, ugh, y'all just got to be doing everything. So that's an important one to have, at the very beginning. Is your extended family a part of your daily life? And if so, what does that look like? What boundaries might you want to interject or suggest, again, to protect the space in the relationship that you're forming, right? Or maybe already be in the midst of, okay, but still be able to honor your families. What about when your parents get older? Thank you, boo. What about when your parents get older? Where are they going to go? I was listening to something the other day, and the person was like, not my kids are a package deal, but my parents, they were caregivers. And so they were explaining to the person that, hey, we get together, my mom comes with me. And I was like, wow, that was a big decision for that person. So we often think about being step parents, right? If people our age already have children, and I'm gonna talk about that in a minute. But what about inheriting a whole parent, inheriting your in-laws? And so if they're not ill already, to think about that. How does your family run? What happens when people get older? Do they live with someone in your family, or do you all automatically put them in the home? What does that look like? And if you do put them in the home, are they in the home, or are you going in and out checking on them? So again, what is that? What is your ties to your family? What are your ties to your family? If we have children already, what kind of relationship do you want this person to have with your kids? Now watch this. Again, we don't think about it in initial relationships, right? When we're creating children, right? Because sometimes I'm like, if you thought about that person, and you heard me say that a couple of weeks ago, if you were looking at that person and you said, I'm picturing my son being like this man, then I'll choose him. If you thought about what your children would be like if you married this woman, you might choose differently. This happened on Love is Blind. Did you all watch that? You all know I love the thank you, cuz I'm trying to hit it hard tonight before I get out of here. But look, Love is Blind, I love Love is Blind and Married at First Sight. So on Love is Blind, the people meet in these pods, they can't see each other, and they talk for like a couple of weeks. They're dating, like speed dating other people, until you narrow it down and you find your person, somebody that you actually connect with, obviously emotionally, right? And so once they connect with a person, then they get in, the man proposes and the woman, she accepts, and now they consider themselves engaged. Then they get to meet, and then they spend a couple of weeks getting to know each other better, right? Face to face. And then they go to the altar and marry. So this one particular couple, they got all the way to the altar, and she knew that he was indecisive. And she said, I'll let you answer first. And he said, no. He said, I love you, but I don't think that we're meant to do this. So on the after show, what he disclosed, watch this, I'm still talking about family. He said he could not see her being a mother to his future children. He said he loved everything about her. He said she was gorgeous, she was smart. He loved her relationship with her parents. But he said he could not see her being a mother. He said she wasn't nurturing, even towards him, she wasn't giving, she wasn't sacrificial. All of the things that he felt was important qualities for a woman to have to be a mother. So he said he couldn't commit to it. So important. Watch how the person deals with their family. Watch how they deal with nieces and nephews if they don't have children already. And if they have children, look at how they deal with their kids. You think they're going to treat your children better than they treat their own? Stop it. Let me look. Let me go in the chat. When I met my husband, he had not seen his family in years. He grew up in foster care in Boys Town. Wow. Wow. See, and sometimes, like I said, it can happen. It can happen that that person did not have that family life, right? And so they see it in your family and they're like, wow, I love this. Like my family is big. It's not super big, right? So when I was dating 5-year guy, like his family was huge. I loved that. I was like, I didn't even know anything about that. Totally different experience. So it's not to say that different family structures can't work. Again, it just needs to be a conversation, right? So what kind of relationship do you want this person to have with your children? Do you want them to discipline your children? Could you picture this person discipline your child? Could you see them having a say-so in decisions about that child, or is that all of a sudden is your child? So is our child when, oh, it's a game or when it's Christmas, but if there's something coming up with that child about school or about this, now it's my child. That's something you got to talk about. What is the relationship with the other parent? Are they active? Then again, are you two in that conversation, or is it the three of us in that conversation about this child that we all share? Super duper important. I'm telling you, this stuff you got to talk about. And again, if it hasn't happened, saying, how do you picture that? Like, what do you, when you think about a step parent, what do you think the role of a step parent is? Because that's what you want me to be if we get together. So what am I supposed to be? Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make you cry. I didn't mean to make you cry about this. I just want everybody to think. Just wanted everybody to think. How do you see this person? What about grandchildren? Again, we're talking to the 40s and the 50s tonight. What about grandchildren? Some people are very involved with their grandchildren. So what does that look like for weekends? If we're dating or we get engaged and we're married, what does that look like? Are grandkids going to be over every weekend? Are grandkids only going to be over on the holidays? Are grandkids going to be with us in the summer when they're out of school? Or are we never going to see the grandkids? We just FaceTime them. What's up with the grandkid situation? We need to talk about that, okay? And how do my kids feel about you being involved with the grandkids, right? All of that. Can you see yourself entertaining kids that are not biologically, right, belonging to you, even those grandkids? Serious business. Okay, here's my last one, and then I'm out. So to recap for the folks that just came in, I said 6 big things, 6 that you need to talk about at the very beginning of a relationship. And you see, these are hard conversations. I'm challenging you. These are not fun. They're not sexy at all. Well, that sex one might be, but most of these are not fun, but they are necessary. If you're trying to build something that's going to last, if you're trying to take away the guesswork, if you're trying to take away, surprise, 2 and 3 and 4 years in, these are the things you need to know up front. right? Before you choose this person, before you fall all in love and in your feelings. Find out their value system. Find out their credit and financial history and views. How do they handle money? What's going on with their money? What do they want to go on with their money? Number 3, health and wellness. Are they taking care of themselves? Do they have any comorbidities that run through their family? If so, are they taking proactive steps to address it? Okay. What are they doing? What are they doing about it? Number 4 was sex. What is their sexual history? What are their sexual preferences? What are their views about sex? Okay, what do they think? Okay, about sex. What do they want? Those are all things we need to talk about. 5, family connections. How important is family? How involved is the family? What's up, Lindsay? We got Virginia in the house. How do they see the families intertwining, interacting, etc.? And then the last one you need to talk about, number 6, life goals. You wouldn't think that would be as important to talk about in this age group. But even after 40 or 50, people should have goals for their life. As long as you have breath in your body, you should have goals. Even if it's to just sit on the front porch and drink lemonade, that's a goal. But you need to know how that person sees their future. Again, value system. You see, that's why I started with value systems. Okay. Do they still want to pursue another degree? And if they do, what is that time and financial commitment going to look like? Some people think that's crazy. When you're 5 or 6, you're 50 years old, you're 60 years old, you want to go back to school? I thought we were just going to be chilling. If you can't support it, you need to let them know early on. Do they want to travel? Maybe you're a homebody or vice versa. Do they want to start a business? What does that look like? Again, time and financial commitment. Do they want to pursue an acting or singing career? You're like, what? Your time is past. You should have done that when you were younger. Not so. Not so. And I want to give a shout out to one of my friends, sister friends, Tracy Eileen, and as baby sister Dion Carey Walker, her sister started her singing career in her late 40s, almost 50, and now that girl is charting the jazz charts. She's topping the jazz charts in the US and in Europe. She didn't get started until her late 40s. So to say that's too late, what is too late? No such thing as too late. So if you got a dream, you need to be able to tell this person that, like, this isn't it for me. Because sometimes where we are currently is attractive to people. They're like, wow, you're a go-getter. They're not knowing there's more on my list. Maybe they want to start a podcast. I was after what? That was 51, 52 when I started my podcast. Hey, want to write a book? Doing that. You want to move to another town or to another country? I know some people who are saying, I'm going back to the motherland. I want to live on the islands, or I definitely want to live somewhere warmer. Is that one of your goals? You need to disclose that so people know what they're signing up for. They need to know what they're signing up for. Okay. Go on, girl. Yeah. Thank you. That's right. Sit on that Cash App. I appreciate it. Tips are appreciated. Yep. $ Dr. Kim G. I love you for that. I love you for that. So, like I said, are you still dreaming? Or does that person, again, think dreaming is for young people? Okay, because some people think that value systems, I'm just waiting to die, right? I'm just chilling. I've done all I'm going to do, which is fine. But does that align with who you are and where you see your life going? When we're entering relationships, what are we doing? We're saying, this is somebody I want to share my life with. So all of these questions are just diving in to see what? How are people living their life? How do they intend to live their life? And can you join your life with them without sacrificing everything? right? Because relationships are a sacrifice. You're going to have to negotiate something. Don't get me wrong. But by answering these questions, I can find out, is this person worth it? Is it worth it for me to make the sacrifice, right? Are we going to be complementary angles where we like, we in there, or do I have to keep moving the pieces around to try to make this work? It's a little late in the game for that. A little late in the game for that. I'm not willing to do that kind of work. Not do that kind of work. I want to work on loving, not on fixing. Big difference, big difference. So, Twitter version, conclude all of this. Ask yourself these questions. If you don't remember my 6, is there alignment to their outlook and my outlook on life? Their goals and my goals. Is there a balance? Like I said, they have a big family and I have a small family. Can we make that work? If they're a spender and I'm a saver, can we make that work? If they like a lot of sex and I like a little sex, can we make that work? Can we just make, well, we're not going to do it as often, but when we do it, we're going to do it good. So is there a balance? Do they make you better? Ooh, that's a big one for me. That when I think about you, I want to be my best self. Let me pause right there and say hi to my unicorn, my unicorn angel, because he makes me want to be better. Makes me want to be my best self. Every time I want to give up and stop doing this, I think about what he would say. And then I do it another week. Are they fluid, nimble, teachable, and open to learning? That's a big one for the 40s and 50s because you meet people. Good night, Emma. Love you. That's a big one in the 40s and 50s because you have a lot of people who are like, you just have to accept me the way I am. No, I don't have to accept anything. I don't have to accept anything. You still should be open to some change. If you're going to get with somebody, there might be some things that you need to move around. You need to reprioritize. If you're not willing to do that, stay single. Stay single. Do us all a favor. But you want to find somebody. Are they open to new experiences and say, you know what? I'll try it. I'll try it at least once. Sure. I'll run it up the flagpole. Sure. I'll do this for you. I'll try it. I'll look into it. Give me your plan and I'll listen. That's being a good partner. That's being grown at this age, right? So the 6 things, make sure you share this with somebody. I am going to upload this on YouTube, so people will be able to see this live on Friday night, 7:00 Central Standard Time. If you ever want to talk about your life and relationship goals, you know I'm your person. I do life coaching and relationship coaching, which is my favorite thing to do. You can inbox me on my business page on Facebook, The Complete Suite LLC. Same thing on Instagram, Dr. Kim Complete Suite. Or you can go to my public page, Kimberly A. King, and I would be glad to connect with you there as well and set up a time to talk about your stuff. You can also subscribe to my channel, Dr. Kim, the Relationship Renovator. You know, I'm always trying to help you find the love you want and keep the love you need. That's what we do here. And we talk about it every Friday night. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for hanging out in the midst of this storm we have here in Chicago. And just remember, I do love you to life. Until next week. And I think Millsap, who's here, I think you're joining me next week. Yeah, I think she's joining me next week. We're gonna chop it up real good. We're talking about weight. Yeah. Does weight matter? We're gonna get into it. Okay. So you all have a wonderful evening again. Love you to life. This is Dr. Kim, the Relationship Renovator. Good night.